Scandal,
Murder,
lore,
intrigue,
I'm Ravinia,
and I'm Lindsay.
and we're talking about the people and relationships.
That made for some scandalicious headlines across the country.
So come join the class.
We're here to give you the rundown. Okay, hi guys. So we're doing a different episode and we're going to try to do this every 10 episodes and we're going to talk about some hot topics. It's only going to be a few and we're just like really going to dive into it. We'll explain it. It's probably something that you've seen online or heard about. We'll explain all the details and we'll have a conversation about it. So nothing is like, it's only like prepared in our heads. Like we've just been talking about it back and forth and we've got a lot of thoughts. So
this is going to be a little less scripted and just a little more off the cuff. We're just going to be chill, relaxing today. So
yeah. And what were we going to call this? Hot topics or
just
something?
hot topics, I
thought of a cooler name than that, but yeah, no, I feel like hot topics. We kind of like each wanted to pick like a topic or a few topics.
Mm-hmm.
So Ravinia chose the Jonah Hill text message boundaries scandal, and then I'm going to talk about Miranda Singh's Colleen Ballinger. So okay, so I'm going to be talking about Colleen Ballinger, aka Miranda Singh. So this is her right here, her like who she is Colleen Ballinger, the person, the real person, and this is her character, Miranda Singh. So she's one of those people who is famous from YouTube. She started it in like the 2010s. Before she got on YouTube with this persona, Miranda Sings. I guess we don't really know Miranda's last name. I guess her last name is supposed to be Sings, but her big thing was that, you know, she was singing. And like back in the day, like early YouTube, before there was like any YouTube stars, there were people who would go viral because people would be making fun of them. They went viral for like not wrong reasons, but just like I think those people didn't realize that people were kind of like making fun of them. Like that's why their videos were getting a lot of views. And there was a lot of girls who would get on there and sing like Taylor Swift songs, and they would, you know, those kind of people that you see on American Idol who think they're good singers and they're not. So Miranda, what I believe, other things have come out who she's based this character off of, but when I started watching her, and it was a couple years into her YouTube career, she had said, like, I ended up seeing interviews of her because I wanted to see who she was in real life, because I saw Miranda Singh's character first, and she sings super bad, like very badly, and she has like all this confidence, and she kind of seems like a really conservative person who's very judgy, and like that's the character. And it's funny. I thought it was funny. So a lot of people thought it was weird, didn't think it was funny. I was one of those people who I thought it was funny. I thought the little skits on YouTube did really well. I didn't think her show did as well, but I thought it was funny. And so then I saw interviews of her in real life, because I was like, who is this person? Like, I love seeing when there's a character I love and then who the real person is.
Right.
And she's like she's a couple years older than us. She's like 36 now. And she was just like a normal person who was really talented in singing. So Miranda's shtick is that she can't sing and she sings horrible, and she wears this red lipstick and she's like, oh, like, it's like she's so bad.
Can you do the Miranda voice?
No,
of course I can't really do it.
I never did, but like
to do it.
I know a lot of people would like talk to their friends like that, and I mean, I thought the Miranda voice was hilarious. But Colleen in real life is an amazing singer and had like worked at Disney and was just a really good entertainer.
She was on Broadway for a while, for a little bit.
She got on Broadway. I think after her show was canceled, it only ran 2 seasons. So she made it to Netflix. Like she went from YouTube to Netflix. And I had always watched Miranda. I thought it was funny. I watched Colleen, like her, you know, vlogs and stuff. She vlogged with her longtime boyfriend who became her husband and her family, and they all seemed super close. And she was just someone that I found entertaining. And she made it all the way out to Netflix. And I remember thinking, like, I was like so proud of her. I was like, this is so cool. Like somebody, you know, from the internet has like made it to the big screen. And her show lasted 2 seasons. It's called Haters Back Off.
Did you watch the show?
I did. I like forced Matt to watch it, and he just thought it was annoying. I think her in little skits, in little tidbits, because the character can be so annoying, is great on YouTube. But when you put it onto a whole show, I just felt like it just didn't translate. It's not anything with her like talent or anything. I just feel like it didn't translate well to TV for like an hour-long episode. So basically that's who she is. She's, she's famous.
Was she daily vlogging or like weekly vlogging?
Um, Probably weekly. She wasn't, I don't think her personal channel was one of those that's like, oh, daily vlogs and like this is what I do.
Yeah.
Like, she would go on tour, she would just and I thought she was like personable and funny in real life and everything. And so I was one of those people who's they call like a fallen fan now after all these things have come out. So she didn't ever really have controversy or was ever really canceled. The only thing that had come up in 2020 was a video of a kid. I think he's an adult now, but he was like 16 at this time when he made this video, and he was about like 13 when he was a fan of hers. His name's Adam. Okay, so this is Adam McIntyre, and he was a fan of hers when he was younger. This is like picture of him when he was younger. He ended up like taking over her. She gave him access to her Twitter, and like Miranda was kind of, I think after the show had been canceled after 2 seasons, Miranda was kind of fading a little bit. Colleen had her own fame and popularity on YouTube just for being herself and showing her life and her family and everything. But she really liked Adam and thought that he was like sassy and funny, and gave him permission to like tweet for her and do work for her, promising him that, I want to pay you in the future, but like, let's see how this goes. So he did a lot for her.
Yeah,
For
he
no
would give
pay.
her ideas. He would help her with thumbnails, stuff like that.
Yeah. And then one day she approved everything that he put up. And one day he put up like a teaser to one of Miranda's new videos, insinuating that Miranda was coming out of the closet. And, this is a character, and then it's kind of like not like appropriate. I feel like it's not nice to be like, let's pretend that we're coming out, like making light of a situation that is very difficult for a lot of people.
Right.
It's just something you don't like make fun of or make light of, because it's not a light topic at all. And fans got mad. And so she got mad at Adam and just like cut him off completely. And so after that, I think he started to come to realize a lot of inappropriate things that she had done over the years. And when he was a literal child, they first met. I was actually watching this live stream, and at the time, I mean, I didn't know how old he was. I don't think I even thought of it. But she was doing a live stream, and they were going through old clothes that she had ordered that she thought were ugly. And people were tweeting her like, oh, you should send me these. Like they were trying to figure out what to do with them. And there was a piece of lingerie. So like these pair of like, lingerie, like very sexy pieces of bra and underwear. And
oh my God, look how little he looks right there.
Yeah. And so he said, oh my God, I want those. They're so nasty. Like I want those. And she was like, oh, that's so funny. And I remember watching this, but like, I didn't even think that this could be a kid. Cause like I was always an adult watching her, and her humor was very adult humor. I don't think I realized until all this stuff had come out of how much of her audience is children. So we'll get into the stuff that like she jokes about and like is in her comedy and everything that isn't appropriate for children. But she has like done things to specific children, like sending them bra and panties and asking them, what's your favorite sex position? And there was one video, like all these people have basically come out and they're like, yeah, like she would have group chats with us. So she's having group chats with fans that are under the age of 18, like not like 16, 17, like some of them were like 12, 13, 14. I can never imagine having a just conversation with like a 14-year-old via text. I feel like that's weird anyways. It's like probably going to be awkward because you're just like, we're so far apart in age and like you are so young, but like having these conversations and sending them underwear and asking them these inappropriate questions. There was one video where she was like stuck a tampon in her mouth.
Yeah.
And like told them
And
to.
she got all her fans to do it too.
It was, yeah. Like I tried to. When this came out in 2020, Adam came out with a video basically in 2020 talking about this stuff. And she came back with an apology video, and no one was on his side. And a month ago, somebody came out, another person who had been in contact with Miranda. I'm not sure, the Cody Rants person, if they worked for Colleen, but this YouTuber named Cody Rants came out talking about her relationship with Colleen and how she's not a part of the fandom anymore. And so this catapulted Adam to come back out and be like, hey, I said all this stuff in 2020 and nobody believed me. Like, these are the videos, like, he's crying, he's showing the receipts, he's showing text messages. And
Well,
she came
how
out with
did
this.
you feel when that came out? Because I know you've been a Miranda fan. Were you like willing to just be like, this is just a misunderstanding, or
Yeah, I was not one of those huge fans that went to her shows or was, I mean, there's people who were like hardcore fans. She was just somebody else I watched on YouTube that I
Mhm.
liked, but I wasn't like, oh my God. But I still did feel like, because I liked her and I felt like I knew her, that when all this came out in 2020, I was like, okay, like I just believed her apology. I don't
Mhm.
think I even watched Adam's video or anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I get it. Like, people make stuff up about you when you're in the public eye and they get their feelings hurt. I don't even remember what the heck she said. I probably just like brushed it off and wasn't even into the drama. I was like, okay, get to something fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I just thought it was interesting, and I made a point to bring up the fact that she was vlogging because I know she let people in on her personal life, and I know like you had told me that you had seen like when she had gotten married, and then you had also seen like when she got a divorce. And so like people get invested,
mhm.
and that's why I was, kind of trying to say, like, yeah, I could see how people would want to side with Colleen, at least in the beginning,
Yeah,
because you feel like you know her, she's been
exactly.
involved, she's opened up her life to
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, she, like, this is her best friend Corey, who I always thought was like super funny and really talented, and he worked for her. This is her
Things have come
ex.
out about him too, Corey and her
Yes.
ex, actually.
Yeah,
So,
and like her brother and stuff. So Josh and Colleen had been dating ever since that she started YouTube. So, they had been dating for so long. We saw them get engaged and married. I remember he vlogged walking down the aisle and I was like, why are you
that
doing
was the thing
this?
back then. I remember people would just like vlog way too much, like way
Yeah,
too much.
he's literally walking down the aisle at his wedding and he's like, it's like
People
you're
have
getting
gotten
this
better
filmed.
about that, but like I remember people were like vlogging, like live streaming, I think, like the birth of their kid.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't know.
Too much.
People
Yeah,
have kind of
so
calmed down with that, but yeah.
yeah. So Colleen and Josh went through a divorce right when she was filming the first season of her Netflix show. She ends up marrying the love interest in her Netflix show, and this love interest was the character that she had throughout her videos, this guy named Patrick. And so at the time I was like, how cute. Like, her divorce, her previous marriage, like, a relationship just didn't work, and she ends up like falling in love with the literal like character that she had in her head for years that was the love interest of Miranda. But then it comes out that like she probably was cheating on
So
Josh, on her first husband. And
was Patrick like Miranda, like the same kind of, how like Miranda kind of comes off as like weird and stupid? What is Patrick also like that? I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, he's weird. He's the character is very, very shy, but he's lovable. He really likes Miranda, but it's almost like Miranda like scares him a little bit because she's so like
Um,
out there and like too confident in herself, and he's just like, okay, I'm here. He's a very like quiet character, and you would say like
gotcha.
if these were people in real life, you would think that they had like Asperger's or autism or something, that
Mhm.
the social skills just aren't fully there, and that's kind of, yeah. So, and
And
then
she
people.
ended up having like, how many kids does she have now?
She has three kids, and they had a son. They came out that they were dating, and then like a week later, she was pregnant. It moved so fast. They live in the house that her and her ex Josh bought together. Like, he literally moved out, and I think she just sold the house, but she had her son, and then she had twins, and like just in the house that she bought with her first husband. And basically,
Awkward.
there was, a lot of people could tell that the relationship wasn't going well and they were getting a divorce. And then soon after, they announced they were getting divorced. So like I said, I wasn't such a big fan where I was into all of the, like, I didn't know people were speculating they were getting a divorce. Like, I watched her, but I watched so many other people and was doing so many other things. So I wasn't like, oh my God, but when they did come out with the videos that they were getting divorced, I remember I cried. Like but the thing is, I don't think I cried for them. I felt like I cried for me because I had just gotten married and we were going through a tough time with like commuting and where we lived. And my husband was like getting no sleep and having to be at work. And it was just really tough. And it was like the first year of marriage. And, I looked at them as like being such a good couple. And I was like, oh my God, like if they can't make it, like, how am I going to make it? It just, I don't know. It just like affected me so much because I was like, these people that you look at that they're like perfect and they're so in love. And I was just like, oh my God, like how could this happen? And then it was like very shortly after, she is with her co-star and they're on vacation together and they're saying they're friends and then they're like, oh, we're dating, oh, we're pregnant, oh, we're about to get married. So it was like pretty obvious that there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes. And I think back to that, I'm like, Lindsay, like that just shows you have no idea what other people are going through. You have no idea who they really are behind the scenes. Like you thought that this was like a perfect couple and you watched them get engaged and they got married and get divorced and you thought like, oh, they must have just grown apart. And it's like, no, I think she left him. And there was always like tiffs between them with her popularity. And he was a YouTuber as well. And he was trying to get popular. They ended up there was even like an MTV, like True Life series. I don't know if you know about this. I remember watching it and then watching their video afterwards because they said that MTV like portrayed them as like, you know, not a good couple together and like portrayed them as all these things that they weren't, because in the show, it was showing how busy Colleen was with her career because her career was popping off and her boyfriend,
That's
Josh.
probably a little more accurate.
Well, yeah, now when everyone looks back, we're like, oh, that's actually how they were. And, you know, they had gotten on camera and they were like crying. They were like, this isn't how we are. Like they portrayed us in this way and it's a lie, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, okay, yeah, that's actually what was going on. Back to Colleen and the Miranda Sings character. When she was going through this divorce, she was having these text conversations with these children, like preteens, and talking about
they were fans of hers, right? So
yeah.
Just to clarify, not these random kids.
No, yeah, they were fans of hers, but they were preteens. And she was like trauma dumping like all of her issues, like telling them all of this personal stuff, which is inappropriate. It's just weird. It's inappropriate for, even if you were of age, I feel like it's inappropriate for like a famous person and a fan, like the famous person to like have these conversations with a fan. Like that's just weird. And I don't know how she didn't think that like they were going to come out with this, which they eventually did. Like
I think you just in your head, you just think they're going to be young and naive forever. But they all grew up. They all grew up.
Yeah, they grew up and then they realized that they were like, this is really inappropriate.
Well, another thing I know that she was doing with her fans, aside from being like wildly inappropriate in terms of asking them sexual questions, but looking at that picture of her and Josh, she definitely like galvanized her fans to be anti-Josh and just like we're getting them to work like on hate campaigns, which I think is just so sad because it's like, well, didn't you end the relationship, Colleen? And like, didn't you move on and get a boyfriend get a baby and stuff? Why do you want to continue to stick it to Josh? Like, even if you guys didn't have the best marriage, like, why do you want to continue to see him suffer? Like, it's sad and kind of pathetic.
And it confuses me because at the time it seemed like, okay, they grew apart. She's like, that's how everyone looked at it. And I think that's how she wanted them to look at it, is like, we just grew apart. We're going in different directions. Like the relationships just didn't last. But in reality, she's probably having an affair. She's the one that's leaving him. But then also like she acted like they respected each other and everything. And it's like, you should be just done with each other then and move on with your life. But she's talking to all of her preteen fans and getting them to like back her up online. And like, she cared so much about her image. And I feel like I guess it's the answer. I said I'm questioning, and I'm like, well, I feel like the answer is her guilt. Maybe her guilt of leaving him and her guilt of possibly having an affair was what made her have her fans like out there and defending her, and then like maybe trying to find shit on him to make him look bad. Cause I think a lot of people felt bad for him because he said from the get-go, he said, I didn't want this. I didn't want this at all. Like, she's leaving me. And she was probably like, you can't look like the victim, when it's like, well, he kind of was in their relationship. He has also been accused of saying and doing inappropriate things with these young preteen fans as well. And it's like, dude, what the heck? I'm like at first I was like, oh, I feel so bad for Josh. And then I hear the other things that come out. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with them? Okay. So like basically like her shows, like I said, I was a fan. I was always a fan as an adult. And I would say that her humor was adult. I also knew that a lot of children, like a lot of kids like are on YouTube. And I knew that like some kids were like fans of hers, but I don't think I realized that the majority of her fans are children. So she in the Miranda like sketches and the show and everything, she makes insinuations of like inappropriate relationships with her uncle. She says that she's like, oh, this is she literally brings up like a horse saddle, and she's like, this is what we call the daddy saddle, and I put it on my uncle and I ride it around. And I'm like, look, this is crude adult humor. Like, this is that humor where you're like, oh my God, like you're laughing, but you're like, I can't believe she said that. Like, it's inappropriate. I really hope no one's hearing this joke who has been abused by an uncle or something. Like, so many things. I mean, this is be triggering to so many people. And I'm like, I have such a privilege of thinking this is funny because I've never had anything like that like happen to me. But it's kind of like the people who sexually abuse children are usually in families. So it's kind of like, it's like on such a fine line. Some people are like, absolutely not. It's inappropriate for everybody. Like, I'm more relaxed on that because I feel like I like watch like crude humor and stuff. But besides that, it's definitely for adults. And kids are the ones that are at her shows, and she's talking about periods, and she's talking about your Tukey, and she's talking about like all this stuff, and the kids just think it's hilarious. But then it's like you go into the reasoning of, you know, is it her responsibility to make her jokes for children when, you know, she's not the children's parent? And a lot of people would say that, like she said, she ends up saying in her apology video, like, my shows have always been PG-13, but it's like, you have to know that like that is your audience, is these kids.
And she knows that, and she benefited from that. I mean, she was talking to them in the DMs.
Yeah.
She knew that they were young, and she benefited because like a lot of times on YouTube, like, I don't know if you remember Jake Paul, like I don't think you ever watched him. I would watch him sometimes in the beginning just to kind of see, because everyone loved having like the hate train. But like he would have like these really sexual kind of like innuendo like thumbnails with like a girl in bikini.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
But then if you click on the video, it would be like, you know, targeted to kids, because kids will watch your videos like nonstop. They will want to buy all of the merchandise. Adults are different, you know, they're like, I'll watch one or two videos, I'll move on, I have more things to do, you know. They're not going to necessarily buy tickets to your show. They're not going to I mean, you did it. They're not going to buy like merchandise and stuff like that. And people have always benefited for having their audience kids. But it's like, you're right, like I don't think her act was ever meant for kids. And she says my act was PG-13. 13 is still a kid. You know, I feel like her act is more rated R.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. So that's like that's why people are calling her a groomer, and like they've used the word pedophile and things like that. Like that's the reason why they're saying like she groomed kids, because it's these individual kids and preteens that she was talking to, but also like just like the stuff at the shows. So there was this one girl who came out and who said that, you know, she was a huge fan. She went to the show and she was wearing like this romper, and she's, you know, Miranda brings people up on stage and does skits with them, and she ended up like having the girl lay down on her back, and she like opened her legs, and the girl said that like when Colleen saw her in the audience raising her hand to want to go on stage, like her eyes widened because she was like, oh shit, this girl's wearing a skirt. Like this is going to be even funnier. And it's like, that could be funny if it was an adult, someone who can consent to this. Like then it would be funny, but it's like, it's not like, I feel like in her mind, she could not differentiate a child from an adult. And like, she was just like, nope, this comedy's for everybody. I'm going to be super raunchy. I'm going to be inappropriate. I'm going to be triggering. And these kids love me. And they loved her as a person. Cause like I said, Colleen was big on YouTube as well. So we know her family. I know all her family members' names and like her parents and all these
family
things.
members have now gotten accusations.
Yes. So this is another thing. This is like a really, really serious thing. And I feel like there's going to be criminal charges. And I hope there are, because there is an active pedophile who has not been arrested or charged or looked at. And it is her brother. Her brother is named Trent. I always thought that he was, Trent. I'd always thought that he was, had like Asperger's or something. He was deaf and he got a cochlear implant, but the way he had acted, I thought like in a lot of the, I don't know if this is horrible, if we should like keep this in. I just always had thought. So I think like people
a
like
lot of people thought that and assumed that. They talked about that on H3 as well. So
oh, okay.
It's fine.
Sorry. So like I always assumed that he was like some sort of autistic or something. And
is that all the siblings? Can you click on that photo?
Yeah, so this is the oldest sibling, Chris, and so him and his family, his wife and him have like 6-7 children. They're just one of those families that just keeps popping them out. And they do vlog channels, or their vlog channel, and they vlogs. Yeah, so this is another one to look out for, because I'm telling you, in the future there's going to be a lot of traumatized kids who have been put on YouTube their whole life and haven't consented to it, haven't been able to. Like that's a whole thing with the family channel. So they make a bunch of money off of filming their kids doing everything. And then I think this is Trent. So and sorry, Chris like wrote the Miranda Haters Back Off show with her and like produced it and stuff. So they do a lot together. This is her sister Rachel, who she was used to be really close with and would work with her. They have in the past couple of years, I think they just don't work together anymore. They're still like close and everything, but they together used to do a bunch of videos and they would make fun of like Asian people, of Latinas, of Black people. Like they would say all these things, like horrible things. And then this is Trent. So, Colleen would invite her family members to the shows. And Trent would meet some of the fans, the underage fans, and follow them on Twitter. And then he would start DMing them. And so then he started being pedophilic. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
Inappropriate, asking them inappropriate questions, saying inappropriate things.
Well, he would try to like meet up with the kids and be like, oh, you remind me of my ex-girlfriend, or like we should meet, we should talk, and like want to move the conversation from online to phone, like text messages.
Yeah. And there was somebody who said that they told him, they were like, I don't think my mom would like that. Like, and when he wanted to text them, and when that person turned him down and said like, no, you can't have my number, I don't think my mom would like it, like Trent blocked them. Like he was pissed. He would
pathetic.
I mean, who knows what would have happened if he ended up meeting up privately with one of these people. But the biggest thing is he tells some of these preteens that his parents don't want him talking to people younger than him. They would be mad if they found out. He said, my parents told me that I shouldn't be DMing people. So the family knows his tendencies. And Colleen welcomed him into her show with all of these children, let him meet all these children, knowing that he has tried to talk to underage children sexually and has pedophilic tendencies.
Yeah.
Like that is the biggest thing to me. I'm like, you guys know this, and you let him you opened him up to this world, to a playground
Yeah.
of children.
They were all, didn't Colleen, hasn't she said in the past that her parents raised them like devout Christians?
Yes, they weren't able to celebrate Halloween. They were homeschooled. They were very, very, very religious.
And they were homeschooled, right?
Yeah, no, a lot of people have pointed that out. So I've pulled up some of the text messages because I kind of wanted to like read them. This is from Trent to somebody and he says, like, just don't share a conversation with anyone. Like, anything we talk about stays between you and I. Like, that is such a red flag. Like, that's what pedophiles do. That's what predators do. And he tells the kids, he's like, you can talk to me about anything. Like, I know life is tough. And he's older than her. So he is like almost, well, this is 2019. So he's probably like 30 at this time, talking to a 14-year-old. This is exactly what Chris Hansen does. He finds people like this. Like, this Trent is one of those people who would meet up. And it doesn't even matter maybe if you say, oh no, he would never meet up with anyone. That doesn't matter. You give him if he had a chance. Yeah, I bet you if he had a chance and he thought that he could, that he would. But even these conversations, it's traumatizing to the kids. They grow up and they're like, what the fuck happened? Like, and they're innocent at this time. Like, they don't understand, and now they're looking at themselves as adults, blaming themselves, and it's like, no, you don't have to blame yourself for anything. Like, this is not your fault at all. This is Trent. Oh, sorry,
go ahead.
I was gonna say this is a Twitter conversation with Trent. He's like, and he says to the person, you don't look bi. So I'm like, I'm like, what? And head tilts, and this person said, oh, I don't. Yeah, I think I am. And he's like, why do you think you are? And the person says, I don't know. I just don't think I'm straight. And he's like, just be honest with like having these, like, what your sexual preferences and stuff. Like, yeah, this is a predator.
Right. It's not right. Yeah. But I was going to say,
really sad.
Even Colleen's assistant, that audio message that he left for, do you remember, Colleen's friend and assistant, he had sent an audio message that got leaked to Adam, and he's telling everyone on there, he's like, guys, I know, like, you guys are younger than me, but I love you guys, or like, I don't know.
He's like, I don't have any friends.
Say anything. Yeah, you guys are my only friends.
Yeah. He's like, you're my only friends. Like, I really don't have anybody. And like, they were like 14 and 15, and you're in your 20s. Like, it's just like sad. And like Trisha said, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for them. Like, this is very embarrassing.
Well, Trisha is a whole nother aspect that we haven't talked about.
Okay. So this is another YouTuber, Trisha Paytas. I feel like she's bigger than Colleen. Like, she's been on Celebrity Big Brother. I don't know. She just loves being on TV. She loves being a center of attention. She's been everywhere.
Yeah. It's funny because like Colleen, I do agree that Trisha's bigger, but like Colleen has had more mainstream, like, because like, Colleen was on the Jimmy Fallon show. She had Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's something that like Trisha has always wanted, but never got, because she's not considered family friendly. Trisha, and Colleen was considered family friendly, but the irony is that she wasn't.
Yes, exactly. So they're both YouTubers, and Trisha has her own, she has been canceled a million bajillion times, and she
never for doing anything with kids, thankfully. Actually, she's really good at like not wanting to have anything to do with people under.
Yeah, because she was young, dating like 50-year-old men as a 19-year-old, and like she's been through her stuff. So she's been canceled in her own ways and like done a lot of things over the years. I mean, I feel like everyone would be canceled somehow if you put your whole life on YouTube and you're popular from it. And that's what Trisha has done. So Trisha and Colleen were like a weird match to be friends, but over the years they have become friends, like hung out with each other. And I watched both of them. So I always liked it.
They both kind of became moms around the similar time. So they kind of bonded over being moms and stuff.
Yeah. And they both are into Broadway. And so I think they bonded over that as well. And So there were allegations from these preteens that Colleen would talk to, and they would that have now come out with everything, like with the receipts and all the drama and telling their story. And they said, they're like, hey, you know, like Colleen and Trisha are friends and they started this podcast together, but we used to have viewing parties of Trisha's OnlyFans. So Trisha is a sex worker and she has OnlyFans and she shows every piece of her and every part of her, and she does her thing on there and she makes bank. But it's behind a paywall and it's not, you know, it's 18 plus. It is not something for kids. And these kids had came out and they said, you know, we would have watching parties of her OnlyFans, of her sex videos, basically. And they would make fun of her. They would joke about her. They would poke fun at her. Then Colleen would end up sending some of these nude pictures of Trisha that were behind this paywall for 18 plus. She would send them to these preteens and like make jokes like, oh my God, you look beautiful today. And it would be a picture of Trish and her cooch out and everything. And they're supposed to be friends. Trisha has no idea. So I think at first Trisha did not want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I'm like, you know, I understand she has really, really messed up with doing these things, but I still part of me wanted to believe that she was like a genuine person. Colleen was. And wouldn't be just like a shitty person to like make fun of somebody and then be, you know, behind their back and then to their face be their friend. And so Colleen said, oh no, like it was the kids that were sending me those nude pictures. Like I wouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And so then it came out with the preteens who are now adults in these text message groups with Colleen, shared the text messages, shared the proof. And so Trisha came out and she denounced Colleen and she was like, this is ridiculous. She even said, she was like, I'm embarrassed for her. She's like, I'm not even embarrassed for me. Like, I'm embarrassed for her that like, you're just it's just like the lowest of the low to like, now I look at her and I'm like, God, like, are you really a shitty person? Like, you're showing me you're a shitty person. And this sucks because I thought you were a good person. Like, I thought you were a talented, normal, down to earth, like, person who was putting their life on the internet, and like you were making fun of so many people and like hating on there's just that typical mean girl that is like, oh my God, she's so ugly behind her back. And then she looks at her like, oh my God, I love your outfit, you're so pretty. Like that seems like to be her. So
that picture right there where they're mukbanging together, they're eating a bunch of food. I had heard that Colleen had given Trisha her address to like,
yes,
oh yeah, come by, here's my house, we're gonna collaborate. Colleen purposely gave Trisha the wrong address.
So this is what, the fans, like the guy Adam and other people who were like the fan friends of Colleen, the preteens, had said. He was like, no, yeah, she told me like she gave her the wrong address. So she shows up in the vlog and Colleen's like, oh my God, I accidentally gave her the wrong address. And Trisha's like, yeah, I knocked on the door and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I feel bad for Trisha with this, but just like in life in general, because she has had a really hard time with other friends. She is like the kind of person to pick on. I think she's been picked on a lot. And Colleen seemed like a genuine friend of hers. And it's like, dude, she can't catch a freaking break with friends. Like she's done her messed up stuff herself, but like, I feel like she is a genuine friend to people. And
that's
you have
why
like,
I keep wishing that Trisha and Ethan would come back into each other's lives, because I feel like Ethan and Hila were good people for Trisha to have around in her life.
I know.
But Trisha ruined that friendship, but it's okay. They're family now, so hopefully
I know.
I hold out that they'll come back together.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's get into, so all these like allegations, all these things have come out. I don't even want to say allegations because there are receipts, there's proof, there's text messages, like there's videos, there's proof. So Colleen comes out with an apology. So we're all kind of waiting. We're like, okay, all this stuff's come out. Like the New York Times picked it up, like so many BuzzFeed, like so many news sources. They're saying that this is like YouTube apology Hall of Fame. Even before her apology though, like big news sources came out with this, and it's like, it was like, oh my God, like I was even shocked. And so
a lot of us were just waiting. We're like, is she gonna come out? Is she gonna say anything? And for the longest time she wasn't. And then she drops this.
So then she has her apology video. And so if you're not in the YouTube sphere, when YouTubers get canceled, they come out and they have an apology video. They might cry, they might whatever, but a lot of times they take accountability. They say they're going to work on themselves, blah, blah, blah. And then things start to get better for them. In terms of like, people aren't hating on them as much. They're like, okay, they apologize. There's going to be that group that still hates them. There's always going to be that group that doesn't matter what they do. They could shoot somebody and they would still be their fans. And like, I'm like Trump,
Donald Trump.
Someone, like literally. And Colleen's always going to have those people. She could literally kill somebody and people are still going to be her fan. Everybody's always going to have that like little group. But normally the people who were like, kind of like me, who was like, I was a fan of yours. Not so much that I was like going to dress up like you for Halloween or go to your shows, but like the first apology that came out, I watched it and I was like, okay, like she made a mistake, whatever. So this one, I just can't believe how much she's like royally fucked up. Cause I'm like, Colleen, things could be getting better for you at this point, and now they're just getting worse. So she comes out an apology video and she whips out her ukulele. The thing is, if you haven't watched her forever, like I have, like she's a singer. She plays a ukulele all the time. So I feel like in her closed mind, she was like, oh yeah, this is me. I always play the ukulele. I'm musical, blah, blah, blah. But to like the masses of people who don't actually have never watched her, but have like heard about this stuff, it looks even worse that she pulls out a ukulele, because it's like, I feel like she's like being self-centered. She's like, no, this is the way I want to do it. It's like, no, you have fucked up. You need to take accountability and actually apologize. And all those people like Adam, the guy with the panties in the bra, and the girl that she opened her legs, like all those people, she just like diminished their stories and everything. She could have reached out to them individually and apologized. The guy Adam even said, if she does, I'll stop talking about this. No, she sings a 10-minute song, which people think that she made it 10 minutes because you have to have a 10-minute video to get monetized.
That used to be true, but that hasn't been
true
true for a while. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's 10 minutes long. And she's singing a song. And she's saying, first she says, all aboard. She's like, all aboard. She says, the toxic gossip train.
It's
chugging down the tracks to misinformation, the toxic gossip train. She's like, they all look like facts when you don't mind the gap. So she's saying that everybody's lying, that it's manipulation, and they are making up rumors, but also that she has made mistakes, and it doesn't mean she's a bad person. And, everyone should just let her grow, blah, blah, blah. So it's the worst.
She sent
apology
this video to Trisha.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, Colleen, she really thought she did something.
That showed me, that was such a big thing for me when I watched Trisha's video, and Trisha just casually says, she sent me the video. Like she sent me the apology video before she posted it live. And I was like, so she thought she did something with this. She thought that
she's like,
this was genius. This is gold. And I'm like, this just shows me you have no idea how bad this actually is. Like she has a lot of self-reflection to do. And now she's very mad. She's mad at everybody. She's not mad at herself, which she should be. She's mad that her life is being ruined because she really doesn't think that she did anything wrong.
It almost reminds me of her and Josh, the way she reacted after their divorce. Instead of just like being like, okay, we're going to leave this alone, she got mad and just got her little fans to go after Josh and do these hate campaigns. And I'm like, girl, you have so much hate on your heart. Like,
I think it is. And I mean, people have said, Shane Dawson is another big YouTuber, said years ago that Colleen's the most hateful person. She's always looking for the tea. She's always like
gossiping and being really toxic.
I don't think that I think she has a really hard time like looking at herself and be like, okay, if literally like the New York Times is putting out this article about me, maybe I need to look and see like, okay, where did I actually mess up? But I think in her mind, she's like, I made a couple mistakes. I shouldn't have talked to those kids. It's like, yeah, what about the things you talked to them about though? Like all the details and like, so. And I think a lot of people would still be her fan if she actually had sat down and made an apology and said, look, I need to look at myself. I am really sorry. I need to do some healing. I need to do some learning. I need to do whatever. Like I've apologized to all these people. Things would have been so much better. I feel like we wouldn't even be talking about her right now. Like she fucked up so bad with this. Like she just prolonged the cancellation. Cause I feel like cancellations, they have their lifespan, and you do that apology, so many people, politicians, everybody, like they make mistakes and they come out and they're like, I'm so sorry. They humble themselves, they're naive with everybody, they're like, look, I'm a real person, like I'm so sorry, blah blah blah, like, and we've all done this, we've apologized to other people and we've had to say like, I'm sorry, I fucked up. And she's like, nope, I'm gonna say, because at the end of this video she goes, fuck me, right? Like, you can just tell how mad she is. So she's just prolonged this cancellation when she could have ended it right then and there a couple days ago with this apology.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, no one behind the scenes would ever advise her to do this, but she says at the beginning that her team have told her not to speak on this, not to say anything. But you could just tell this is her ego speaking. It's like, no, I know more than you do. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna do this and I need to defend myself. I'm like, honey, you don't need to defend yourself. You need to apologize. Like,
yeah, there's nothing worth defending. Like,
and
there's
people
nothing
have called this her apology video, and I'm like, this is not an apology.
It's not. No, it's
and she doesn't address any of the allegations.
No, she's getting her anger out, by being like, when she says like, some of you want me to, didn't she say like, some of you want me to apologize, but no, I'm not going to do that. Or she says something like, some of you want me to admit. And she's like, well, I'm not going to go down that route. I'm like, ooh, you are mad. I mean, she's mad because her life's falling apart. Her career's falling apart. She is legit canceled. But what do I always say? I believe in cancel culture. When you fucked up, then you can get yourself out of the cancellation when you apologize
and take accountability. Grow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, a lot of people have said that about Trisha. I know this is not a Trisha episode, but like, she's an example of someone, like Lindsay said earlier, she has gotten canceled like a million times over. But Trisha has genuinely moved on and like changed and like
apologized,
course corrected.
Yes.
Like, you course correct. This is what you do. Colleen, she looks so creepy in that video too. I don't like her little face.
Yeah, she does kind of look unwell. She looks very, very thin. And but I mean, I'm sure she is unwell now. She is unwell right now. Her life is falling apart. Her career's falling apart.
You've been a fan of hers for a little bit. Like, do you have anything to speak on because one of the lyrics in her song was saying her bony little back.
Yeah.
People have said that she is, tried to promote, I guess, like skinny culture in the past.
So yeah, this is something new that I've heard. I had never heard that, like in her like body checking or whatever, like that people do, like they'll look in the mirror and they'll just be like, they'll like look at themselves. I'm going like this when
there's more things that people are body check, like on the H3 video, they didn't mention everything. There's more things that people do to body check. So like people, if they'll like check like, okay, does my fingers, do they wrap around my wrist?
Yeah.
That
means you're skinny.
And then they'll like take their hands and they're like, if I can touch my hands, if my fingers can touch around my waist, I'm happy. And then they'll do it around their thighs as well. Yeah. So that's also another example of body checking that wasn't really fully explained, but yeah.
Yeah. So people said that she does that, and maybe she's done that in like more recent videos. I stopped watching her. I feel like it was like 2019. Like I slowly stopped watching her vlogs. Miranda hadn't come out with a lot of stuff where I feel like I was just sick of it. I didn't find it funny anymore. So like I stopped watching her. So I feel like a lot of stuff has happened from like 2020 to today. But people said that she would like always.
This is her at the Kids Choice Awards, guys. Like,
yeah.
So just like further, she's like, mine was always PG-13. I'm like, no, your shit was rated R, and like but like you're at the Kids Choice Awards. You knew who your audience was. Don't lie. Don't lie, Colleen.
Yeah. She knew full well, and that's like her in real life. Yeah. So the only thing that I remember is her, like, she's always been skinny, and her sister, they've always been very skinny and stick thin. And they used to talk about how they felt like people would talk about them being too thin, and it would be kind of the same as somebody talking about somebody for being too big. And they're like, it's the same thing. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, that makes sense. Like, the last time I was stick thin, I was like elementary school. So I'm like, I didn't grow up being like super stick thin. So I was like, well, I guess people can make those comments and stuff. And it is just as bad as talking about somebody with a bigger body type or whatever. It's like commenting on people's bodies, no matter what it is a no-go. And she would talk about that. And I was like, oh, that's great. But I think deep down, like, she was super insecure and like to be skinny or something. Cause when she got pregnant, she talked about how much it like affected her, like when she was pregnant. And I was like, what the heck? Like, you're still skinnier than me when you're pregnant. Like, are you serious? And so I think that's like, she just made, I don't know, she like made that comment about like my bony little back. Like, everybody's talking about how skinny I am, but I feel like deep down, like that's what she's thinking all the time. Like she's making it like a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But yeah, so a lot of people have come out against her. She has people that were like really close with her, like to her, like Joey Graceffa has not cut, like people who were like her best friends, and those people have stayed silent. But a lot of people, and I mean, even like Howie Mandel like made fun of her apology song. Like, it is huge. She royally messed up. Like, it got worse. People didn't think it could get worse, and it got worse. Okay, we also have to talk about her father. Oh my God, this is another freaking thing.
Her whole family, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so Colleen's dad has a YouTube channel that people have verified is his YouTube channel. He has one saved playlist on YouTube.
So
and
for people who don't know, playlist is like you could just save. Sorry, you could save videos so that you can watch them like in a group like later.
Yes. Basically. So he has only one, and it's called Want, WANT, and it is a bunch of inflation, which is a kink.
Yeah. Wait, click on it.
I'm just so grossed out. I don't want to look at it. Okay, so her father
actually put helium. Oh wow. Okay.
Helium.
It says helium belly.
I thought they were like enemas or something. That's what I thought that like, but I think you could do, I don't know. It's disgusting. This is his kink. There's nothing wrong with having a kink. There's nothing wrong. It's fine. You can have this kink.
It's just strange.
But the weird thing is that when she was pregnant,
oh God,
she would use her, the character Miranda was also pregnant. And so Miranda, because she's like, her character is supposed to be like conservative, and she was very Christian, and she loved the Lord. And so she would be like, oh my God, I'm the Virgin Mary. Like, how did I get pregnant? And that was like the whole spiel of like, Miranda doesn't know how she's pregnant, but there would be like pictures of this, like as her thumbnail. And it's literally like, that's your father's fetish. Like, what? And your brother is literally like a pedophile. What is going on? What is going on? I'm just like, just like being a fan of hers before and like thinking I knew, and I'm like, you don't know what people do behind closed doors. You do not know. It's just weird. There was a ton of, yes, look at this. These were the pictures. These are the thumbnails. I think we should end with this. I'm just speechless. It's so gross, and I don't know. There's a lot more things that I think will come out in the future, and that is what
oh God
the scandal is right now for Colleen Ballinger and Miranda Sings.
I wonder if she'll have more kids, because that's what Alec Baldwin did when he was getting canceled.
He just had more kids.
Yeah, he just had more kids.
This is her current husband, who played the love interest. And it's like, I remember watching the video when she found out she was pregnant and stuff, and like, it just sucks. There's so many people who were fans, who were bigger fans than I was, who like went to her shows, and they have turned against her. And I think that's the hardest thing for her to come to terms with, because God, I feel
click that picture on the top left.
This?
Yes. God, look at her. Like, she's
how skinny
so skinny.
And that would like bother her so much that it's, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, it's just really sad, because I feel like she could have put this behind her with a good apology, and she can't, because she messed up. And like, I don't think she can see that she has messed up. She can't She still doesn't think that she's at fault for anything.
I forgot where I heard this. Maybe it was TikTok, but somebody was like, they believe people like are at a stage of arrest. Oh my God, I forgot she was in the Ariana Grande music video.
Yeah, so she's been friends with Ariana Grande before Ariana blew up. And Frankie Grande, her brother, and everything.
Dang, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. She plays the pregnant cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Um, someone, I think it was on TikTok, they said the age that you get famous at, that's like sort of your arrested development. Like that was the theory. That's the
Okay.
theory. I mean, obviously, I don't think that's true across the board because I mean, well, I was gonna say someone like Drew Barrymore was basically famous at birth,
Yeah.
but like even her people have accused her, not accused, that sounds bad. It's like have said that she acts kind of immature, but I think
Yeah.
like she's had to grow up
Mhm.
too, like very quickly. It's like this weird dichotomy of like growing up very, very fast,
Yeah.
but also like not getting all the experiences that everyone else does, like those like standard development experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like Colleen just has this weird, yeah, I don't know, arrested development somehow. It like I'm not trying to excuse it, but like her thinking it was okay to hang out with or talk with these minors and see them as like her peers almost. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's exactly how she acted with them.
yeah.
But then like there was weird just like sexual things that people are
Mhm.
like, that's why she's being called a groomer, because it's like, well, you said these things. Like, not a normal adult doesn't say these things.
Mhm.
Somebody in your 30s, like, why? The only thing you should be talking, like, seeing them at shows and being like, hi, let's take a picture. That's it. Like, not
Yeah.
having a conversation, not literally talking about your divorce and
Yeah,
your
she would like
relationship.
trauma dump with them and like be like telling them about how she was getting divorced and all
And I
that.
think when she started to date or be with like her current husband, like she was telling them like private things about her husband, like, oh, he's so sexy, like stuff like that. It's yeah. So yeah, that's the scandal with her
Mhm.
that's going on right now, and it's crazy. So let's move on to Mr.
To
Jonah Hill.
Jonah
We should
Hill.
have a vote for who's worse at the end.
Okay. Well, oh God, I was gonna say Colleen for sure. Because to me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
don't fuck with kids, please. Like,
Yeah.
her stupid song. You know, I hate to admit it, but like I have I when I heard it, I got it stayed stuck in my head for
Oh
like a
my God,
couple
yeah, I've
of
been
days.
singing all day. I'll sing it for you. Do you think we'll copyright? Because she has now also copywritten this song and uploaded it to Apple Music. So I think she's just still thinks that this is a joke. Like she and so but yeah, it's like the toxic gossip train chugging down the tracks of misinformation.
Misinformation. It
The
is kind of a bop.
toxic gossip train.
It is kind of a bop, but like I think she just doesn't want people to like be able to monetize over her song. Like
Yeah.
because like a lot of people have been like us, this is a hot topic. People have been talking about it and playing her
Mhm.
song and reacting to it. And
Yeah.
she's like, no one is gonna monetize over my song. Like da da da.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Her priorities are so messed up. It's like your
bitch,
priorities should
this
be
is embarrassing. Like you need to be embarrassed.
yeah. Her priorities are very messed up. Like she needs to be reaching out to these minors that she harmed. She needs to be going to therapy, needs to figure out what I just feel like there's something like secretive like happening between like with her dad, her brother, her like her family, like not
Very
something that's like
strange
happened specific, but
dynamics.
yeah, like something I feel like something happened years ago or something
Mhm.
there's always been a weird I don't know, like I don't know, it's just very weird. It's just very weird
Strange
with
family dynamics.
yeah,
The
like
families are just very strange.
her brother being like this, and then her character is doing like there's always like a sexual minor with minors like like theme like going
Yeah.
around,
Or like
and it's like
incest too.
yeah, and it's like where is that stemming from? where are
Right.
you bringing that from? Is that from your real life, or like what is happening?
Like, what's the deal?
So
But
yeah.
anyways, so we're gonna change gears a little bit. We're gonna talk about Mr. Jonah Hill.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I used to always, I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of Jonah Hill, but like, what is it called? Super Bad, I think.
Yeah, love that movie.
Bad movie.
Yeah, I always thought he was hilarious. He was
Um,
just a cool
I remember seeing this movie in the theaters when it came out. Like, I don't know, unless you're kind of our age or a little older, maybe like you wouldn't know. But this was like such a big comedy at the time. Like Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, and then Seth Rogen. He has a small part in it, but I know he wrote the story.
Yeah.
He based it on his own like high school experience.
And we were seniors in high school when this came out, so it was like
So it
perfect.
felt, like it felt very relatable to us.
Like
and
having
it
to
was-
get alcohol for a party. And
yeah, basically it takes them all day to get alcohol for the party. And I'm like, yep, legit. Like you would basically spend almost all day, most of the night trying to acquire alcohol. But yeah, it was just like this good, relatable comedy. Like I loved it. And Jonah Hill just I always thought he was funny. I thought he was a cool guy. I wasn't like a huge fan, but I thought he was funny. So this was like a couple days ago, right? This is really fresh.
Yeah.
His ex-girlfriend, her name is Sarah Brady. She is a law student, but she's also like a professional surfer. She's a surfer instructor, which is how they met. He saw a photo of her on Instagram surfing and he was like, "Oh my God, you look so good, da 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 da." And he also has a passion for surfing, and that was a passion that they shared together, surfing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so they loved surfing together. That was something that they did. That was how she caught his eyes. Like he loved her surfing pictures. So it came out recently. She started sharing these text messages between them. And he was just being like a creepy, controlly guy. I kind of did want to take the reins on this one a little bit too, because I've mentioned this before. I have a background in psychology, and people have said that he has taken terms that you will hear and learn about in therapy, and he has misused the terms and has almost like weaponized it. And I think it's really important that we talk about this because ladies,
because this happens a lot.
They always say men go to therapy, but like I saw on TikTok, they were joking. They're like, men, just kidding, don't go to therapy. Just don't. Like, just.
Well, they were talking about how like narcissistic, manipulative people, it could be men or women or people, they'll go to therapy and they'll take what the therapist says and mix it up to benefit themselves. And that's exactly what he's done. And a lot of women, especially women, have come out and they've been like, "Oh yeah, like I've had a man do this to me." So it's like those kind of people are horrible for therapy because they learn how to manipulate even better. Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that he came out with a documentary about therapy.
Yes, like with his therapist and stuff, which I didn't know about until I heard about all of this. It's almost like, is there any help for narcissistic men? I don't think so.
No, I'm sorry. Anyways, I believe this is it. Yeah, Stutz. But so things have come out about the therapist as well. So let me see here. Here we go. Sarah, this is Sarah. So here, I'm gonna say it really quick. He would get mad at her for the way that she would dress. He was saying, "I don't want you wearing this. I don't want you posting pictures of you in bikinis or in swimsuit wear." And she's like, "I'm literally a surf instructor. Like, what do you want from me?" There is more than one photo of them wearing the same outfit. There's this other one. They're wearing the same outfit.
I know, because a lot of people thought that was weird.
And I'm like, no,
deal with that.
That's him, like, just controlling what she wears. And he's like, if
Mhm.
we're gonna wear the same thing, I don't know. To me, this is just control. Like, you need to literally wear the same outfit that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Because at
And
first I thought it was cute. I was like, oh, that's kind of
mhm.
cute. Like they're
I feel
wearing the
like cute,
same
kind of
outfit.
funny. He's a comedian,
Yeah,
like
he's a
makes sense.
comedian and it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think
And the
this is
same shoes
ridiculous.
too. Oh my God.
Yeah, same
Um,
shoes.
yeah, I feel like this shows me that me being a Virgo analyst, I'm like, you are very insecure, buddy, that you have got to have your hands all on everything she does, what you post, what you say, what you wear, what you do. Like because he's insecure as fuck.
So
Yeah.
they had a couples therapist. She also had her own individual therapist who didn't like Jonah. But their couples therapist usually would side with Jonah because it was Jonah who introduced them to that
Mm,
therapist. So this was from the therapist. It said she had agreed. Oh, so she basically, Jonah would express in the couples counseling that he didn't like when she was friends with males, and he didn't even like some of her female friends. So she was like, "Will I interact with men during, like, I'm a surf instructor?" So this is what the therapist told her to do. She had agreed to paddle away from any man that approached me in the water, no matter his age. I was instructed to say, I'm going to talk to my boyfriend and then paddle away. So yeah, that, the therapist told her, if a man approaches you, you need to say, I'm going to go and talk to my boyfriend and paddle away from him.
that's so ridiculous. Like if I feel like we need to have like a PSA because I feel like some women think that this is like cute at first when a guy says stuff like that.
When
Like,
he's
I don't want you,
jealous.
yeah, like I don't want you
Yeah.
to have male friends. I don't want you to talk to males. Like there was some girl who got on TikTok and she's like, these are the rules my boyfriend and I have. Like, we can't sit next to anyone, any opposite sex person in class. I can't have any male teachers. If anyone is saying that to you, immediate red flag. You should be able to have friends of the opposite sex. You should be able to just speak to those people, have those people teach you. Like when they're like, I've dated people, I'm sure you have too, who have like not been possessive, but like this one guy like would like check my phone. I'm like, I am not doing any like it's like they already have that idea in their head even before they start dating the person, that they're super insecure and they're super jealous. And like it is just so bad because you start to feel like you have done something wrong and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Like I've never given you any reason not to trust me. It's like these guys that come out of the gate already feeling like they can't trust you and wanting you to do certain things. Like I feel like he's telling her, like, I feel like I can't trust you with other men. You can't surf with other men. And it's like, did she ever do anything to make you feel like you couldn't trust her? No. So then you should not be acting like this at all. I just want to say
Yeah,
that.
and that's the thing. It's like the world is filled with all kinds of people, the places that you work, the
Yeah.
places where you go to get food. Everywhere there's gonna be men, women, non-binary people present. You can't just, and
Yeah.
the fact that he just was like, I think if he he would just like keep her locked in this little cage and
Mhm.
just be like, you can't interact with
And there
anybody.
are so many men like this. And I think there are women too, or other genders. There are other people who have been like this with their partners as well. And like there are just no situations where it's okay. That person is super insecure with themselves. So they're trying to control you so that they feel better. And
Right.
you are the victim in this. Like it's never cute. It's never like, oh, they're just jealous. No, no, no. They have a problem.
Right. So this has now become a meme, which I love it. I love how they took it and just were like, F you, Jonah hell.
Mhm.
This has become like the most popular one that he sent. This is Jonah's text to his girlfriend at the time. Plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past, beyond getting lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you a place of happiness, I support it. And there are no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic relationship. My boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. Um oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
don't
I
even
mean,
believe that any of those actions have hurt any of their trust. She
yeah.
had just been living her normal life and he was like, "Oh, I don't like that." It's not like, I bet you $1,000,000 she never once flirted with someone, she never once, like, nothing. He has made all that up in his mind. And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I can't trust you now." Okay, well, what's the reasoning, Jonah? Well, I don't have reasoning, but that's how I feel. And that's my boundary. And it's like, yeah, the
Yeah.
boundary has to do with you and your body. You can't have a boundary on somebody else unless you don't want to be around that other person, but you can't tell that other person what they can do and call it boundaries.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. I'm like, well, what I don't want to just say, hey, the term boundary is being misused without giving an example, because I definitely want people, like anyone who's listening, to understand, like, if somebody's telling you stuff like this, you need to know, like, what is the proper way to use boundaries. So, like, an example that was given that I thought was very helpful is if someone who is like a recovering alcoholic, right? They can't be in places, or it's not that they can't, sometimes people can be in places where alcohol is being served and they could, ignore the alcohol. Other times they're like, hey, I'm a recovering alcoholic. If this event or place is going to have alcohol served, I cannot go. That is a boundary. That is something that involves the person to themselves. Like, this is a protection, like a precaution for myself, not about like, hey, you are doing this for yourself, and that is, violating a boundary that I've set. It's like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
that's not correct. And
Yeah.
the thing is like, the thing that seems like almost most insidious to me is that the way he comes across, he's like, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you a place of happiness, I support it. And it's like, that's not true. He doesn't support it. He literally is saying, if this brings you happiness, leave. He's like
Yeah.
saying, I support it. But it's like, no, 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 no. That's the thing. He's using this language and he's speaking in a way that makes it come across like he's a nice, reasonable guy, and that these are reasonable requests. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not.
And he's
It's not.
giving her the ability to leave. Like,
Right.
you can leave. It's okay.
It's just such manipulation.
And
It's
the way that
manipulation.
he says some of the things, to post sexual pictures, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. He's like stating these things, like some of them are like kind of negative things, and just like already acting like she's the one that's messed up. Like, I understand, like, if she had cheated on him and he decided to take her back and he said, this is what I need from you, like, that makes sense. But it's like, no, she didn't even do anything. She was probably a great girlfriend and you are just an insecure little dweeb, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
Well, there was another thing. I don't know if I could find it, but like basically she turned it around on him and was like, hey, what about you?
yeah.
You're in this movie and you're gonna kiss your co-star. And
Mhm.
he's like, well, it was in front of a bunch of people. There's like cast people everywhere, and it's in a controlled environment. And she's like, okay, so who's to say that me surfing with a
Yeah.
male partner, like, I don't know.
Mhm.
This is just the hypocritical, double standard that he
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
doesn't.
he's allowed to do anything because he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm great. Like, I can do anything I want. Like, I don't need, I don't need to be told what to do or need any like fixing or anything." But he's like, "But she does. But I need to lay out my list of terms." And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well then what's her list of terms then? Like, oh no, you don't want that? You don't want a list of terms from her, but you can give her some? Like, okay.
And I just felt so bad for her because, I know what it's like when you're in that early relationship and you don't really have like, you don't really understand a whole lot, like in terms of especially I feel like it's probably amplified when you're dating a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, you are more willing possibly to just give in and be like, okay, fine. Because he would make her delete pictures and like change her outfits and stuff. And, I can't sit here and judge. Like, I'm sure I've been in similar situations, slightly similar. But Yeah, I felt for this girl because I'm
Yeah, I
like,
mean, this may have been the first time that that's happened to her, you know, we can all sit here
which is
and be
what she
like,
said. She
yeah,
said that no other boyfriend has ever done this to her.
exactly. And I can totally see that she, you know, a lot of it's confusing and she's probably trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. She's like, you know, second guessing herself. Okay, maybe I should like, yeah, I mean, earlier I wanted to be like, oh, she should have left right away when he sent that text message, but we really can't judge because
Yeah, and it's hard when you're in love with somebody. They say
Mhm.
like you go like love is blind. I know that's like a
Mhm.
popular show now, but that the way that they use the term in that show is not correct
I
technically.
know.
Love is blind is supposed to mean that you become blind to anything that the person will do because you love
Mhm.
them so much. You know, blind to the good things they do, blind to the bad things they do. It's just like I'm in
Exactly.
love with them. I'm completely blind.
Blind from the red flags. That's what
Yes.
she was doing, you know. There's a lot of red flags that were stated, but she didn't realize they were fully red. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't. That's why I'm like, whoever is listening to this, if you're ever treated this way, like you need to know, like this
Run,
is no, there's no
honey.
good excuse for it. There's no giving them the benefit of the doubt. No, they're trying to control you.
So as of right now, like as of Lindsay and I filming this, it's July 11th. He has not released any sort of statement. And
Mm.
I've been kind of waiting, with the Miranda Colleen, like we were
Mm-hmm.
all waiting on pins and needles. Is she gonna say anything? Uh, Jonah Hill has the opportunity to do the most hilarious thing right now. Come out with like a ukulele. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Does
But
he is he on Instagram? Like, does he do social media? I don't know.
I mean, that's how he found his girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like wondering what the apology is going to be. Like, is he going to put out a statement, like on his
I
Insta
don't think he'll
stories?
apologize.
Yeah, I
I
think
think he'll double down.
he's probably hoping that it'll just go away. And the thing is, it will eventually, like it'll just in the public eye, like it will start to like fade out. And that's why I always feel like celebrity, not that I know any of this, what they would do, but like I feel like a lot of celebrities, they probably like, okay, two options. I can just let it die down or I can make an apology. And I think even Colleen, if Colleen never said anything, I think it would have started to die down eventually because there's only so much you could talk about. Um,
Right.
and
I
I don't know.
I just assumed if he would put out a statement, he would defend himself. I don't think he would apologize.
Oh yeah.
I think if he was going to put out a statement, he would double down the way Colleen did and just be like, this is taken out of context.
Yeah.
Um, she only showed text messages. I'm predicting it right now so I can show when he does eventually do
I'm
this. No, I'm
predicting
kidding.
he's not going to say anything. That's my theory. We'll
No,
see which one.
he'll either say nothing, or if he does say something, I don't think he's going to own up to anything.
Yeah. But I'm like, how can you even like go on the defensive? Like, unless you want to say these texts are fake. Like,
He might. He might. Or he might say that she only showed text messages that put him in a poor light, that there are text messages from her where she's in a poor light. And I don't think he would show them. I think he'll just
yeah.
allude to them. But
Yeah.
I don't know. This is
Yeah.
kind of it with the Jonah Hill. I mean, we don't really have more updates on it. I can talk about The Idol really quick.
Well, yeah,
This
let's talk about this
show,
because you told me not to watch it. I kind of want to. Just I love watching the stuff that's
you can watch it.
like in the news and stuff. But yeah, all I heard was that the acting is terrible from Lily Rose and The
It's god
Weeknd.
awful.
And then people think that it is about Selena Gomez and The Weeknd now. So like,
Yeah,
that goes
which I
into one of our
did want to
previous
bring up
episodes.
too. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too because we had a good old episode talking about Selena, and a lot of people have been able to kind of mirror a lot of the things. So here's a little bit of context though. So this story was originally written mostly by a woman, and the first I think they had already filmed like 3 or 4 episodes, and it was directed by a woman.
Okay.
Then The Weeknd, he was like a producer, and so was Sam Levinston. He wrote part of it too. They swooped in and they're like, no, this show is being told way too much through a woman's perspective. we don't want that. So they canned that. They got rid of those episodes. Those will never see the light of day, although some people have seen. I'm gonna have to
And they're
pause for.
filmed with the same people?
They're filmed with the same people, yes.
Mm.
And it originally had like a totally different tone to it. Let me see if I could find, hold on. Yeah, this was originally going to be the vibe. Like, see, here's Lily as the pop store vibe that they were going for originally.
Yeah. Huh.
Which I thought was like way more interesting, and it was going to be told from a woman's perspective, which I think was important because they were the whole point of the show, which is called The Idol, it was supposed to be inspired kind of like Britney Spears, all of that has come out about her, how the industry is really destructive and very controlling. And I think it was always meant to be important to tell it from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
Because women that's the story they're trying to tell,
Yeah.
They completely changed it. They went a different direction, and they had already shot episodes, which was crazy. And they were
Yeah.
just like, those will never see the light of day. They completely started from the beginning, and The Weeknd got involved, and he is more of a producer, and they're like, no, we're going to tell it in a different way. And it's disgusting. The way that it's being told now is just disgusting. It's exploitative. It's awful. In the end, like, spoilers, I mean, I know you want to watch it. You could definitely take a look at it now.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I didn't watch it. Like, I did watch it, but I watched people watching it. Like,
Yeah.
like people will watch the episode and they'll react to it.
Yeah.
And to each episode, and that's how I watched it.
Maybe I'll do that too. That sounds like fun.
I was like, I can't watch it by itself. Like, it's too boring. It's too stupid. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, so basically, this is The Idol. This is like the Britney, Selena Gomez like character, Lily Rose Depp's character, and she has this whole like sob story that her mom used to beat her and used to abuse her, and then her mom died of cancer. And then later it turns out that she lied about all of that, and that she was just manipulative, and that Tetros, that's the guy's name, Tetros was like very controlling and psychotic with Lily Rose Depp's character. But then it turns out that she was actually secretly pulling the strings the whole time, and she was the one who was like manipulating. And that's how it ends, that in the end she was the one who was really like holding all the puppet strings at the beginning, and that it was just a lie. And I'm like, first of all, real life doesn't work out like that. Like, in real life, these idols are being abused and are not like, the people around them are being manipulative, and the people around them are controlling them. And to kind of make it that she weaponized her sexual abuse and her just abuse, she weaponized it and lied about it, and that was like the big takeaway at the end, is just like really sad and pathetic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get why people like hated this.
And the acting is like god awful. It's just like beyond. Like, The Weeknd should never be acting. I think he's an amazing singer. He has an amazing voice. Acting is not his forte. And Lily Rose Depp, I mean, I might get heat for this, but I never thought she was a good actress.
She didn't get her father's genes.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah,
I think she looks exactly like her mom.
Oh yeah, I think she's a great model. Like, I feel like that's like, she's a great model. Yeah, but
the acting is horrendous. But it's like so bad it's kind of funny, you know what I mean? Like, where it's just kind of funny to laugh.
That's exactly why I want to watch it.
But
I feel like it's more
the way I watched it. It's more
because it's one of those things that you want to hate watch it, and so you want other people to talk about it with you. So watching other people watch it, they give like, I feel like it'd be fun for you and I to watch something like this together, because we like laugh at it and talk about it. And
speaking of, I don't know if you saw this, hold on. The Idol Trisha dressed up as Petros, and it looks so good, and I'm like, Trisha, you crazy woman. I
I
love
did
it.
I did see that like on Instagram. Oh, she did
Yeah,
for
I
the
was just
Instagram.
watching this actually just right now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Does she have a
I
full separate ASMR channel? Oh, she does.
yeah, she has an ASMR channel and
What
she's
are these
actually really good at
glasses?
ASMR. I think they're Gucci or Versace sunglasses. I
Oh
can't
my
remember
god.
which. Um, do you watch her AS are you
No.
into ASMR at all? No? Oh
No.
my God,
No.
it does relax me. I kind of need it sometimes.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. Like I like the ones with like the girls like eating the pickle. Like I like those sounds,
Oh
but
my
like
God, yes.
nothing about it like relaxes me. I just like
Oh, it
like the
relaxes
sound. I don't
me.
know.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, and I love her.
But it's like I feel like with ASMR, like people they like it or they like absolutely hate it. They're like, I can't deal with it.
Yeah,
Like
some people are really sensitive to
I'm
the
like,
sound.
I love a good crunch. Like, yum. Let's
Yum. Yeah, I'm not into the food ASMR. I'm just more into like the soft talking. Like that
Mhm.
just kind of relaxes me. But I love Trisha's role plays. Like they're just so hilarious. And she
Yeah.
dressed up as Tetros. Uh the Weeknd's character, she dressed up like him.
I
And
want to
I
say
think,
Tetris. Like that's what it sounds
yeah,
like, the game Tetris.
yeah, it's very silly.
Okay, so that's the hot topics that we had for this week. So I want to talk about stuff that's like people are talking about now. I want
Right.
to talk about the submarine, but I'm like, oh no, that's just old news. And like honestly, the billionaires have been talked about a little too much. Like RIP, I'm so sorry. Like go party with the ghosts in Titanic, but like
You know what I heard is that they couldn't even call it a submarine because it technically didn't qualify as a submarine, so it was called a submersible.
submersible, yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
so crazy to me.
Yeah, and they just like cut corners and like I don't know, that was a big thing. But I think the Jonah Hill and the Colleen Ballinger is
I love that.
scandalicious.
Yes.
And that's what we want here.
But yeah, like we said, this is going to be like every 10 episodes. On the 10th episode, we're going to just take it easy, more light, not so scripted, not so polished, just us chilling
Yeah.
and having a
Talking
good
about
time.
some scandals.
So yeah, we'll see you next time. Next time we can tease, it's gonna be Barbie. I love Barbies, and I want to take Lindsay's take on Barbies. I don't even think I've ever asked you, like, did you play with Barbies? Da, 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 da. Don't answer that. We're gonna talk about next time. What was your favorite dolls? Like, I love dolls. I still collect dolls to this
Yeah.
day. So this is gonna be like very close to my heart. But I definitely want to like ask you, like, which dolls were you? Did you like dolls? I don't know. But we
I'll
even
save it.
have our own personal story with dolls too. Me and you. We'll might show clips of it. Only clips.
That's where we can include. That's where we can post these videos. Is for the okay.
We can only show clips
Ravinia and I have played with Barbies together, and we were
as
the
adults.
age of 18.
Yeah, we were adults. Yeah, a little too old to be
But
doing.
we'll talk about it for a video. You know,
It was a little bit like a Colleen thing where it was like,
yeah, it was like a funny video, but it's yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do Barbie in honor of the movie coming out, and we're gonna be together when that movie comes out. So we're gonna go see it together, and then we're gonna do like 1 or 2 episodes filming together. So
yeah, shameless plug. I'm gonna do like a vlog, but it's gonna be on my channel. Shameless plug. It's gonna be on my channel. I'm gonna be doing a vlog of us hanging out. It's gonna be on my channel, not Scandalicious, but yeah, we'll have.
Because we're gonna go to like actual spots. We're gonna do the Anand Syed case out of Maryland, and then Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton, and we're gonna go to those places because I live in the DC area, and so they are all drivable, and we are gonna do some on-site reporting. And I'm very excited.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
To watch the video version of this podcast, search The Scandalicious Podcast on YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Scandalicious Podcast.
If you have an episode suggestion, our email is in the show notes.
Thanks for listening.